Welcome. This is Farmer Joe on the American YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about saving tomato seeds. Now, if you've seen any of the other seed saving videos I've made, it's been on things that were required to become dry when you save the seeds. With tomatoes, you do not wait until they're dry. You can, but it's much easier to wait until they're ripe, or you have some ugly ones that may have over-ripened. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the process. You know, I'm of the philosophy that just because your hair's getting gray and some of it's not growing anymore, it doesn't mean that you can't expand your mind. So this is just a little sidebar. You might think it's silly, but I always try to test myself. Tomato is, in America, what we would call this fruit. It is a fruit, even though many times they're marketed as vegetables. It's a vine, and that helps you in being able to grow it, knowing that it is a vine and the nature of the way it grows. It's called a tomato. Now in the Southeast, we refer to these as tomato or maters. I refer to them as maters. In other languages, in German, this would be called, or these, plural, tomatoes, would be called tamatim. Tomaten. In Arabic, it would be tamatim. Tamatim. And in the UK, they speak English also, obviously, but they say tomatoes. But we say, in the southeast of the United States, maters. So, that's your little expand your vocabulary or languages today. So let's get on with it. So what you'll do is you'll pick your tomatoes, some that you think are pretty, or maybe a strain that has been able to just be the most productive. So you take some of the tomatoes from that. What I've personally found is I do grow the bigger slicing tomatoes, but for me, the cherry tomatoes, or even some are marketed as a spoon tomato, they tend to last, they tend to produce the longest. I can grow them from the middle of spring all the way up until the first frost, when the vines get killed off, and they will produce. And if that vine does play out and quit producing, you can plant consecutively. I am about to put in my third run of tomatoes, and that'll be the last run, because right now it's August, about mid-August, and I'm going to put in 75 plants. But all summer long we have grown the cherry tomatoes, and we also grow the bigger slicing tomatoes. And that is something that's important, is as you are on this venture, is to figure out what works best for you. That's in anything that you grow. But tomatoes are an example. For me, and the reason behind the whole seed saving in the videos that I have is yeah, it's a neat thing to understand, but in a situation where you're looking for longevity, you're looking to be able to put food on your table consistently. So while we have the luxury of being able to go and buy seeds, or go to the grocery store and buy whatever we want, we may not have that luxury. And if you do, wonderful. I hope we do. But in the event that things are short, or things are just harder, or more expensive, as we're already seeing right now, it doesn't hurt to take these simple steps to save your seeds. So let's get on with this. And it's just this simple. You pick a little tomato like that, maybe has a little split in it, or it's perfectly fine because you have so many of them that you've grown, and you just put it between your fingers and you just squirt it in that water just like that, okay? Or take your handy dandy knife, you got a ripened tomato, kind of cut it open just like this. Most of them will just fall out, and you put them in there. So You'll leave them in this jar, or in a jar, for about 24 hours. And the reason you're doing this with the tomatoes is because they have this gelatin type covering on it. And you know, nature and the creator, they make things so perfectly and such in a timely manner. So the reason it has that gelatin cover on it is to protect it, because tomato plants aren't growing tomatoes for us to eat. It just happens to be that way, and we've figured that out, that we enjoy them. But it will make the fruit will fall to the ground, bust, rain hits it, and that gelatin covering is protecting that seed. It's like in a time capsule, or it's on a timer, and it will hit the ground, and over a period of time it will go into the ground, maybe get pounded in, or things scratching, or maybe you're out there picking tomatoes, one falls, and over that period of time rain hits it, and over the winter, and it's in the ground, and lo and behold, next spring, what do you have? Wow, where'd that come from? Oh, there's another one. There's another one. You have a whole bunch of tomatoes that come up. So what we're doing is we're replicating that process and able to keep these seeds and go ahead and manipulate that and plant them where we want them, in the best place. So basically, you're putting them in this water to get that gelatin type coating off of them. So you'll let these set for about 24 hours, or a little bit longer, not too long, but just to get that to help in the process. So that's your first step. So now we'll take you to step 2. Step 2 is, so that jar is set for 24 hours. This one has. That's your first step. So step 2 is, looks kind of nasty, probably doesn't smell too good. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You can slowly pour that water out, or if you're allowed to go in your house and do it, which I am, but I thought I'd do this outside. You can take this strainer, real fine strainer, and pour that out. And what you're going to get, some strained tomato seeds, just like that. And then we're simply going to dump them out right here. And then some people say gross part happens. Now a lot of that stuff is still on it, so you got to spread it out on this paper towel. And as you're spreading it out, you know, you don't have to be super gentle, but you know, don't break them, but they're pretty hard to break. And you'll spread them out and get them separated, and then you leave that paper towel out to dry and let all that stuff dry. And of course you're going to do a more thorough job, but obviously this is a video under time constraints. And you know, I sit and I do this after I get it on this. Maybe when I'm hanging out in the living room watching TV, or whatever I'm doing. And so we'll take this and we'll let it sit in a covered area and let them dry out. And your final step is what you will get. I don't even know if you can see them. I'm going to try to hold them up and hopefully I don't drop them. Are these tomato seeds right here. Okay? Now out of that, that's a lot of tomato plants. And then you take whatever little trusty container you have after they're thoroughly dry, and maybe let them sit. You can just see, but I'm saying just like I got them on my fingers and they're just paper dry. And then you sit back down, watch some YouTube, watch the American YouTube channel, and as you're sitting there, you take these tomato seeds and you put them in here, in your handy dandy container, whatever it may be. It can be a plastic container, Could be anything that has a good secure lid on it that keeps moisture out. And then you store these wherever you like. Just need, some people say put them in the refrigerator or whatever. I plan on planting these next year. And this right here, I'm going to get this whole container about halfway full just because, I don't know, I just nerd out on it. But that right there, that's a lot of tomatoes. And even if you have a 50% sprout rate, I'm estimating you're going to get close to 100 plants out of that or more. So those are 3 easy steps to coming to the end. And then of course you label. Mine's Cherry Toms 2022. Now I've got some seed, different types of vegetables, plants that have produced up to 3 years, 4 years. Now you get a lower sprout rate, 4-year-old bunch of seeds that you may have that you forgot about over somewhere in the corner, like, oh man, you might get about a 50%, 30% sprout rate out of them. These guys right here, I'm going to get a very high sprout rate because, one, the tomato seeds that you'll buy at the store or any of the season stuff, if they're still selling a lot of that right now, they've probably gone into their fall stuff. They were harvested or processed last year. These right here, by springtime, they're not even a year old. So they're going in the ground. I will have a high success rate. I think you've seen, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the high production we have. Now, again, these are skills that I think are important to know that many of us never did learn or nobody taught them, because it really, that was a time, in our lifetime, it really hasn't seemed to be necessary. But I think it's a good skill. It's something that anybody should know, just very basic skills of how to feed yourself, or what is the process from ground to growing to harvesting to saving seeds and putting it back in the ground and doing it the following year. I think that's important no matter what. Everybody has their different take on it. Right now, I'll tell you, I think it's very important. But with that being said, I do go and buy seeds at different, at only 2 places. One, I buy my seeds from Botanical Interest. I'm not sponsored, obviously, to this little channel. Buy them. I like them. I've shown that on a couple of videos on Instagram. I like the packaging. It has a lot of information, and they have some really unique types of seed. And the other place I go to is a local place. I'm wearing the hat. It's Arnold Grocery Company. They've been around since 1869. Yep, 1869. I highly suggest you got to take care of the people who take care of you. Arnold Grocery is one of the businesses, and I will highlight the other businesses who I work with, sell to, provide to, and buy from. They're located in the town of Newnan, Georgia. I walk in there. I know the owner. He knows me by name, and really appreciates me and appreciates my business, and I appreciate them. And they give me my 5% veterans discount, which adds up because I buy all my farm needs at that store, and I am able to see the direct impact and result of where my money is being spent. Some of the great things they do for their employees, even if they're a little small company, and the support they give. But I buy all my feed there, everything. So anyway, I highly suggest that you buy local, because that's your people. They end up being your people, and that's where you need to show your support. Show your support with your dollars. Everybody talks about voting. Obviously you vote but the dollars talk talk a lot louder than voting these days, in my opinion. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I appreciate if you are watching. If you subscribe, that's great. Just a small channel. I hope you learned something today. And if you lost me on the whole process of saving tomatoes, at least you learned how to say it in 3 different languages. All right, that's the end of the Farmer Joe's Mater seed saving video, and I'll see you next time on the American YouTube channel.